Hello, all my friends at Yala. Since the last time you met, we've lost a great champion for peace. Shimon Peres was a man of uncommon courage, a visionary who was always willing to share hard truths and point the way to a better future. I remember him as a wonderful friend to the man I worked for, Barack Obama, who viewed him as a mentor and an ally. President Peres was generous with his support, with his insights, with his counsel. Both men recognized in each other the character of peacemakers. And now one of these great men is gone, and the other has moved on to the next chapter in his life, inspiring young people to take up the cause of peace and of building a better world. And that's why I'm so excited about the work of Yala. You are reaching across these great divides that have led to so much bloodshed and so much hardship, and you have the ability to change the course of history through the dialogue that you've established in person and online. So keep up the great work and know that there are many of us out here who are aware of what you're doing and hold great hope for the future because of it.
There are words from Shimon Peres that have accompanied me since I first heard them. He used to say, "The future requires believers. The future is built, not inherited." From the first time I met him to our last conversation just a few months before he passed away, he always told me to keep hoping for peace and working for peace. And even when there seems to be very little hope, as in our difficult times, the two-state solution is in danger. Not only the situation on the ground in Israel and Palestine is sliding towards a one-state reality, but fewer and fewer people believe that a two-state solution is still possible or even desirable. To me and to the European Union, the alternative is clear. There will be two states or a state of conflict and chaos. If the people of Israel and the people of Palestine stop believing in the possibility of peace, they will move towards more violence. So never give up to cynicism and despair. It would be a favor to those who work against peace. A future of peace requires believers. In our last conversations, President Peres always talked about the great ideas he had for exchanges between young Israelis and Arabs. He envisioned a generation of believers, people who would dream of peace and work for it, together, networking. This is why I was so happy to hear about this new initiative, the Peres Dialogue Forum of the Yala Academy, because you can be the generation of believers that he had in mind. We have not inherited peace, but we can be the ones who build it. We do not get to choose the kind of times we live in or our neighbors, but we can choose to try and change our times. So use this opportunity. Make it your opportunity to build peace.
It's a great privilege for me to be invited to address many of you who will attend the forthcoming 5th conference that will link the Yala Institute and the work that has been done by Shimon Peres and Uri Severe. And what is this work and why is it so important? Shimon himself and many other Palestinian and other Arab leaders have concluded that to have a peaceful Middle East and to give everybody a chance to have a developed country that moves forward, it's very important to build a sense of understanding and trust between the Israelis and the Arabs. At this moment, as I think many of you know, the Arab world itself is having some difficulties in terms of cohesion. Difficulties in terms of cohesion because of the different roles of Iran, of the different roles of Palestine, of the different roles of Egypt, of the leading countries in the area, all of whom have a desire for peace and all of whom have some history which they carry with them of incidents in which that hope for peace has not always been fulfilled. You as a younger group can make a huge difference in what happens in the future. What I and many others like me have always wanted is to see a new generation come along that has different views, that can look at the question of peace in the area from a new point of view, to get rid of a lot of the old worries that they had about each other, and to settle down with the million representatives that are already in this group and try and forge an atmosphere of trust, an atmosphere of interdependence between those who live in this region. I'm getting too old now to be able to carry along that future hope. But while I'm around and while others who are on the list of possible candidates to address you and work with you, while we're all around, what I think all of us would like to see is that the hopes and the message that we carried with us can be developed and made fertile for all those who follow. I wish you great success in the enterprise, and I can assure you that I will be available to you at any time that I can be of help. I should not let these remarks go without paying tribute to Shimon Peres. He's someone who looked at the whole situation in the Middle East and in different capacities, in government and in outside government, always sought to find the truth and the balance between the different parties in the area. He was a truly great man, a great friend to many of us, and in the work that you'll be doing, there will always be somewhere Shimon looking down on what you're doing and supporting you and helping you to bring together the differing peoples in an atmosphere of trust and in an atmosphere of peace in the region. I do miss Shimon very much indeed, because although I was doing work on development and peace, whenever I met Shimon, he always came up with a story of how he'd done it before, how the water should be shared between the Palestinians and the Israelis, how development could take place, how education should be spread between one group and another. Shimon understood that peace and security and development would come from joint projects, joint visions, joint dreams, and joint hopes. We miss Shimon today, but we can do all the things that he wanted by following his ideas, and this joint institute can be a way to do that. I learned a great deal from Shimon, but the thing I remember most was that I got lessons from him in patience. He never gave up. And when we talked about any of the subjects of the Middle East, the number one subject was timing and patience. And that is, of course, what we need now.
If there is one thing more than anything else that Shimon Peres was known for, it was thinking about the future and always thinking about possibilities. He was never satisfied with what is. He was always thinking about what could be. Certainly thought about that in terms of people and peace and the other. He was someone who understood that the essence of peace was understanding the needs of the other. And the essence of living with others who have a different background, a different identity, a different culture, is respecting that background, identity, and culture. I can't think of many organizations that are more attuned to trying to respect the other, to understand the other's identity and needs and culture than Yalla. And that is why whenever I'm asked to offer my views for Yalla, I'm always happy to do so, because the purpose of Yalla and its aims and objectives are ones that I very strongly support.
I learned a lot from the time that I was fortunate enough to spend with Shimon. Expressly, that peace is an action. And in the time that we spent developing Yalla, our online peace movement, for now about 1 million young people, it really is the only place where Arabs and Israelis work directly and interface directly about peace. We have to have a really profound understanding of how meaningful it is to create an academic learning center, peace movement, online journalism, and an outreach program where young people can make a decision towards peace. Shimon was such a forward thinker. He was a person who saw the future coming and decided to prepare people for it. That is extraordinary, and that is leadership. Allowing people to be present in today, looking for a tomorrow that can be peaceful, harmonious, and loving. That's what Shimon stood for, and that's what made me love him, respect him, and want so much to work together with him. I consider him a mentor, and I think that all of these young people, whether it's from Lebanon or Algeria or Morocco or Ireland and their turmoil, we see young people having the ability to be in there today, dealing with each other and not having to carry the baggage of their past, of centuries past and generations past, of angers from the past, but being able to look forward to the possibility of peace and unity and understanding of one another. And in this time of global consciousness, of a global reality, it's more important than ever to acknowledge that this is the way our young people need to learn, come together, and share what is a unified understanding of peace. This is who Shimon Peres was, is, and will always be, certainly in my heart. Thank you.